The title of my book is called George Washington, and the author is Lenny Holt. On February 22nd, 1732, George Washington was born in Westmoreland County, Virginia. And as a teenager, George became friends with his sister-in-law's brother, George William Fairfax. George had high hopes to be an American soldier and fight the British. William Fairfax, George's brother's father-in-law, pulled a few strings so that George could live his dream and become in the army. George loved George Fairfax's wife Sally, but proposing to her would endanger his friendship with George. Washington and Sally would always write to each other, bragging on who's having a better life. George and his brother Lawrence sailed to Barbados, and George survived smallpox, but his brother dies at Mount Vernon. Out of all the deaths in his life, his brother's was the hardest on him. During the French and Indian War, Washington and his troops ambushed Fort Necessity. On January 6, 1759, George marries Martha Dandridge Custis, and Martha and her 2 children live at Mount Vernon with George. On December 16, 1773, the Boston Tea Party took place. Fighting at Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts, begins the American Revolution. And Washington takes command of the Continental Army at Cambridge, Massachusetts. On July 4, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed. Washington leads his troop across the Delaware River on December 25th and 26th, 1776. In the winter of December 1777, Washington lost lots of men. September 17, 1787, Washington was the first to sign the Constitution. And on April 30th, 1789, he was inaugurated the first president. Washington dies on Mount Vernon in December 14, 1799. And for my book, The Quote, I have a picture which was on the second page, and it's Washington and his troops crossing the Delaware River.
It's a very famous picture. Who was the artist, do you know? Do you know who the artist?
No.
I don't either.
Any questions?
Does anyone know who the artist was of that picture? I'm not sure. It's very famous. Any questions for George?
He was about 72. Okay.
How old was he when he became president?
He was around in his 40s.
Any other questions?
On the second?
Did he chop down an apple tree?
Well, that was actually not true, what he did, but he might have. Any other questions?
Okay. Good, George.